would you say that hasn't or has happened with the video game industry? Do you, if you still play? I don't know if
Has it? I mean, has it gotten better?
Well, has it held the standard? I mean, because I do think to an extent, graphics have become way crazier. But
Yeah, for sure.
overall, the games have they held that standard?
Well, yes and no. So I am a gamer. I do play a lot of video games because they're amazing and they're fun, and it's way me and my friends stay in touch, because they live like on Long Island and in Nashville and what have you. So I find myself playing a lot of older games as opposed to newer games. So the newer games, like the AAA games, which is just like the industry term for like big budget, massive games like Assassin's Creed or like FIFA or Madden or others of those franchises, Call of Duty, Halo, Destiny, all those are AAA games.
AAA? What do you mean?
That's just the term for them, just AAA.
Why?
I forget
no idea?
why.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't. I just it's just an industry term used for that. It's just used for that kind of those kind of games.
Okay.
Narratively, it can be hit or miss. Like they're still fun, right? Like not Daft Punk, Cyberpunk was one of the biggest ones that came out a year or two ago. And, you know, it had ray tracing, which is like the newest technology, where it's like if you have a puddle in the ground or a glass window, you can see a reflection, right? And stuff like that. If a car drives by, you can see the reflection. So that's really cool. So technologically, games definitely hold the new standard.
Did you hear about the video game that has 63 quintillion true-to-scale planets?
Oh, No Man's Sky?
I don't remember the name.
Yeah, so it's called No Man's Sky. So what happened with No Man's Sky is...
And it uses the technology that's in our fractals. Do you know why they're able to fit a video game that crazy onto one DVD disc?
No, I don't. I don't understand how that works, but I know the game itself uses a lot of copy and paste to infinity.
Right, and that's the fractal stuff.
There's only so many things you can actually do. Because No Man's Sky, when it came out in 2015...
That's a very good way to put it. That's a very, like the way to explain it in the simplest way.
Yeah, so you have say you have, on one planet, you have a list of 30 things to do. They copy and paste that an infinite amount of times and just change variables ever so slightly. So it's like they're selling you infinite, but in selling you infinite, they're promising you way less. And when that game came out in 2015, it flopped hard. Now, a friend of the show, Nash, can talk about that a lot more because I never played it. So, like, our running joke is, you know, they say there's an infinite amount of possibilities on an infinite amount of planets. Like, okay, Nash, find me the planet of rehab. Just find me a giant planet that's a giant rehab center. If it's infinite with infinite possibilities, it has to be out there somewhere. And to this day, he hasn't found it yet. So, I'm calling bullshit.
We're still talking about the game here, though.
Still talking about the game, yeah.
Well, the way you put it definitely is an oversimplification, but it does explain it in a really good way. Basically, it uses the laws of nature. So basically, when you're drawing a tree when you're a little kid, you draw a circle with like a cylinder underneath. But that's not actually how a tree actually is. Everything in nature is basically copies of itself. So essentially like a fern leaf. If you zoom in and look real close to the fern leaf, it's just miniature copies and copies and copies and copies of itself. And you zoom out and it's the fern leaf, or it's a snowflake, or a tree. It's the same pattern over and over, but in small different variations. And what they found is, this goes into a whole nother debate and can of worms of Pandora's box and mixed analogies that I'm doing here. But basically, it follows the laws of nature, and our DNA is the same exact way. It's just like a strand, and it's copy of the strand, copy of the strand. So if they actually created that game the same way that they normally create games, it would take like 10 buildings.
Right.
Like with computers running in all of them.
Right.
But they use this stuff called fractal, which is like crazy mathematics that's actually an equation that explains the universe. They're able to take that and transfer those equations and that mathematics and laws of the universe into this universe of these 63 quintillion people. That's
a lot.
That's not.
It's like 9
That's
zeros.
not trillion. That's not whatever comes after trillion. That's not quadra whatever illion. 5.
So okay, that's probably 12 zeros or 15 zeros.
I don't even know.
It's a lot.
Like, yeah, it's a lot. But apparently they're true to scale. I've never played it, but I watched a documentary on it talking about fractals technology in the universe and this and that. And they're true to scale, meaning you can't play the whole game. You never would be able to.
Yeah, it's impossible. Yeah.
Right.
I would say the biggest thing holding back the gaming,
And that's probably what Nash was saying. Is like, even if it was there, this rehab planet, he'd have to have 1 in a 63 quintillion
yeah, it's
chance
impossible. It's impossible to find
it.
Yeah, but also it's not coded into the game.
Well, yeah, I don't think the
Yeah, I don't think the creators thought, let's make a planet of just it's a giant hospital, just a giant rehab hospital.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't
never
know the details of how they designed it.
If I was making the game,
but
I would have threw it in there. It's fucking weird.
But here's the thing. They had to design it in a way where they couldn't actually pay attention and design 63 quintillion planets that are true to scale.
Right.
So, I don't know. Maybe it's some sophisticated AI kind of thing, and maybe it is there.
I mean, gaming is exploring that kind of thing. Like next year, there's a game called I think it's Starfield or Starlink, Bethesda's new game coming out, which me and all my friends are super excited for. It's like Skyrim in space, which is going to be just incredible. And it's kind of like, it's the same idea. It's infinite things to explore, and it might be co-op, which is awesome. But the gaming industry as a whole, I think overall, it's way more successful now than it was 20 years ago when Jak 2 was just coming out and being released. I would say arguably the games are more fun from back then because a lot of them still hold up. Like I said, I play a lot of older games now than the newer games, mainly because new games now are being held back by executives.
In what way?
Because they're littered with microtransactions. Do you know what microtransactions are?
No.
So, if you play the newest Call of Duty, they're remastering. Okay, first off, they're remastering a Call of Duty 2, Modern Warfare 2, which came out in 2009, 2010.
I had that one.
Yeah, it was fucking incredible. It's one of the best games ever made.
Yeah.
But they're re-releasing it. I'm pretty sure it's only the multiplayer for $70. So typically,
so remastering in the video game world,
remastered games
it's going over the graphics to update them and make them
and making new servers,
make them modern.
But for example, Crash Bandicoot and the Spyro Reignited trilogy, which the PS1 games remastered on the PC and Xbox and PS4 or PS5, was $40 or $50 when normal games are $60.
Right,
so,
games used to be very expensive.
That's a problem in and of itself.
Yeah,
and then in the Call of Duty is gonna be purchases you can make for exclusive weapon skins, exclusive characters, or EXP bonuses. And they're very much in your face, or loot boxes. So what
you really gotta care, though. You really gotta care,
dude. People, here's the thing. I'll get to that about caring. So
I want my weapon to look like this, but functionally it's the same gun.
Yes, exactly. The other thing is loot boxes. So what a loot box is, you can buy say it's $3. $3 gets you 2 crates, and in those crates has 5 items apiece with a 3% chance of an epic item, and an epic item is a super rare item like a brand new gun that no one else can get. So you're gambling. It's gambling.
When you say no one, you mean absolutely no one.
I mean not absolutely no one, but that it's a 2% chance of unlocking. Everyone in the world has a 2% chance of unlocking this box. If you buy 100, there's a 2% chance that you're going to get it. And you might not even get it, right? So it's gambling.
They're really tapping into the psyche. I mean, they've always done that.
And these mechanics, you can play the game and ignore it like I do. So if I bought the new Call of Duty, I wouldn't spend actual money on microtransactions. That's stupid to me. But people do. People who are addicted to gambling do. Kids who just have their parents' credit card on their account do. And they can spend Fortnite. People spend thousands upon thousands of dollars on Fortnite, and the game's free to play.
I've watched TV shows where they're actually talking about how actually how addictive video games really are.
Oh, that's super addictive.
To the extent where obviously it's the extreme, but I'm sure there's cases of it where people have died from sleep deprivation
Oh,
because
for sure.
they couldn't step away
Oh, for sure.
from playing the video game.
And then you got the element of Twitch, which brings video gaming to the next level.
Well, that's the sharing of
Streaming.
the streaming of your video games.
Yeah.
That's a thing. That's a whole culture now.
Yeah, no, I think video gaming is an excellent industry for the most part. Also, the workers who make the video games go through what's called crunch, where it's essentially they're working 70, 80-hour weeks for the same pay to get the game out, and the game's rushed, and it's usually bad at, like, every game sucks at launch because it's not finished, essentially.
You know a lot about this.
Yeah, because I'm a gamer. It's just, it's a whole thing, but video games are a lot of fun. They're very innovative. They're definitely going in the right direction. You gotta have the metaverse and VR and that kind of stuff come in pretty in the next 5-10 years.